He said, give me your email address and I will send you the paperwork to fill out as well as your start date. The man replied, I don't have a computer, nor an email. Well, then I'm sorry, said the HR manager. If you don't have an email, that means that you do not exist. And if you do not exist, then you cannot have this job. The man left dejected, no hope at all. He didn't know what to do as he only had $50 to his name. He decided to go to the supermarket and buy a crate of tomatoes with him. He then sold the tomatoes door to door in less than 2 hours and doubled his capital. He repeated that operation 2 more times that day and returned home with $400. The man then realized that he could survive this way and started to go out earlier every day and return back later every day, thus doubling his money or tripling his money every day. Soon he bought a cart and then a truck, and then he had his own fleet of delivery vehicles. 5 years later, the man is one of the biggest food retailers in the United States. In planning his family's future, he decided he wanted to get some life insurance. He called an insurance broker and chose a protection plan. When the conversation was concluded, the broker asked him for his email. The man replied, I don't have an email. The broker replied, curiously, you don't have an email and yet you have succeeded to build an empire? Can you imagine what you could have been if you had an email? The man thought about it for a while and replied, yeah, an office boy. So, what are the lessons here? I think there are 2 of them. Number 1, spending too much time on an email makes you an office boy. And number 2, doing what everyone else does and operating as everyone else does is not what is going to lead you to being an extraordinary success. In fact, often it is the opposite. So tell us, what are the things that you do that are the opposite of what or how everybody else operates that now looking at it this way is a bit of your secret to success? Trade that tip with us and trade with the community in the comments below.
What a great way to start the morning. Watching what other people are always doing and trying to be like them. Or practicing real estate in the exact same way as everybody else. Or thinking this because somebody else is doing it the right way. 2019 is the year of change, the year of challenging yourself, disrupting yourself, and being more of an individual in your own business. We have a lot of important topics to cover today. But I want to start with that video for another reason as well. I was recently part of a meeting, and we were talking about the new rules that are coming in, or the proposed new rules that are coming in through new legislature and new policies and new, everything is under attack right now in every single way, and everything's being challenged. And it was remarkable how many people have a perceived notion of what these rule changes are going to do to their business, or not. So we're going to cover all those things today, but before we move on, I also want to wish for those who are celebrating Happy New Year. It's the year of the pig. The year of the pig is a little chubby, chubby means wealth, so I hope everybody has wealth this year. After the 18 we've had, there's only one way, right? Up. So let's look forward to that. We have some key speakers today, but I wanted to cover a very important topic right off the top. Due to time constraints, and that is why is Instant Net and Authentic Sign important to your business? We have Sean here who will come up to the stage momentarily, but I want to start off by saying, I don't wake up every day and think, how am I going to screw up your business? Right? As a broker, I don't wake up every day and say, man, I can't wait till I see that person suffer. Right? I can't wait till they can't do their paperwork. I can't wait until they lose the listing or lose out on a multiple offer. Would you agree with that? Why would I do that? Number 2, this is an e-signature that is included in your trip membership. So it's time to acknowledge it, embrace it, and look at it. Number 3, because of this, there are already thousands of realtors using it and sending jobs to be electronically signed by their clients and to each other. Already thousands. As a matter of fact, in the United States of America, it's a gold standard. Primarily is what's being used. Korea made the announcement that they are replacing the web form platform with the Internet Authentic Sign service. So the way you see web forms will be now, the engine will be that company anyway. So you have no choice. you need to look at it as well. All the forms and web forms are already in Untitled Chapter through Trev. All the forms are there. So why would you go to web forms to begin with? So it's very important that you learn about this. Less and less people will be paying to be using DocuSign, and our back office won't be able to accept DocuSign documents. What that means is, if you send something from DocuSign, we have to get off the assembly line, change our processes, re-enter it, and do it. If you use Untitled Chapter, you get an acknowledgement right away, everything is flowing along, right? So ease and speed for you. We signed up to have our entire back office managed this way for compliance and to create seamless paperless communication. This is how we'll be accepting their trades shortly. Number 8, myth. My clients won't use it. They don't have email. How many of your clients are on Facebook? If they're on Facebook, they have email. Don't tell me your clients, regardless of age, don't have email. But even if they don't have email, there's still a way to use this program with paper. But I want to share this last myth. This is for the young ones, the newbies, and not for me. This is for the young ones, the newbies, and not for me. I had an interview this afternoon at 3 o'clock with a newbie. The newbie is 58 years old. Shadow that out of your mind, please. For those of you who have clients who say they don't have email, or clients who won't operate that way, a 58-year-old, 55-year-old, 65-year-old, 35-year-old, doesn't matter, just giving you that a little bit of a more mature age on purpose, will be never knowing what the other way was. They've never seen Bailey's. They've never seen the old way. Or the way we've always done it. That's a better way of saying it. They're going to show up at your client's house with an iPad and a listing form on it. And they're going to have that client, who's also in their 50s or 60s, touching an iPad to sign an MLS listing. And if you are in the business for 20 years and you are not prepared to at least look the same way, there's a reason why you just lost some business. Right? What do I always say? Sellers buy for their image, buyers buy homes. Right? Sellers buy image, buyers buy homes. Sellers, they want to see how you operate. They want to see you organize. They want to see you, the sizzle of the presentation. Buyers, they could be wearing shorts and flip-flops. They don't care. They're logging in and they're looking at homes. They want easy, they want to see bedrooms, they want to see kitchens, washrooms, electrical panels, backyards, pools. They don't care. They want to make the buying process easy. Click here, click, 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 click. Let's get it done. Sellers, though, a little bit different. So I wanted to introduce Sean with this slide because he's here from Untitled Chapter to give us a quick little demo. Very, very quick little demo. We are training. We are seeing a lot of our agents attending the training. There are videos for you to watch on your own time as well. Bear with us for about 10-15 minutes while we walk through this for us. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. So my name's Sean. I'm a key account manager with Instinet and Normal for the same company now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through just a quick 15-minute presentation of the platform. But I do want to just quickly highlight, prior to going through it, it's going to be somewhat overwhelming in terms of how much I'm going to go through in such a short amount of time. But there are a ton of resources when you log into the platform in terms of videos, ongoing webinars, and things that you can utilize. And I'll show you where those are accessed on the screen. So show of hands, how many people have logged into your member benefit through Trev? Nice. Have you completed an offer or anything of that nature? Yeah? Alright. So for this is going to be kind of, going through something you already know, but for those of you that haven't, you're going to learn some of the benefits of what you have access to through this member benefit and what the brokerage is providing you in terms of technology. So One of the things I want to make clear that Instinet Authenticide Forms and Transaction Desk is a completely web-based program. So you're able to access it on any one of your devices, whether it's a laptop like what I'm using today, your phone, an iPad. All you really need is an internet connection and you'll be able to log into the platform. We also have a mobile app that you can download through the App Store. To download the app onto your phone, and it's actually a much better workflow if you're using like an iPhone or an iPad. If you have the mobile app, it works really well. So when you log in, what you have access to is something that looks a little different than this. It'll say Member Dashboard, and that's because you're receiving it as a member benefit. And what this gives you is a snapshot into what you are working on individually as an agent versus what the brokerage is working on when they log in to the broker dashboard. So whenever you're creating a new listing agreement or a transactional documentation, you would click the Create Transaction button, and I'll walk you through what that looks like right now. So when you create a transaction, what you have the ability to do is name it something. So whether it's your buyer's name, your seller's name, the property address itself, you can name it. So I'm just going to name this one 123 Remax Ultimate. You then have access, similar to in-web forms, to a number of different templates. And these templates can be either built by yourself or provided to you by the brokerage. So I have a number of different templates in here that I've created based on the type of deal that I'm working on, whether it's a condo property, a freehold sale, a listing agreement, an MLS data input sheet. So I'm just going to choose a freehold sale. Because we're connected to the MLS source, what we're able to do is pre-populate the vast majority of fields on that form for you using that MLS number and the data that's in that MLS. So it cuts down the amount of time spent entering information onto a form quite significantly. So I'm going to select a freehold property, and I believe I have one right here. You then have the ability to add yourself as a specific role within the transaction. So am I the cooperating salesperson? Am I the listing salesperson? Neither or both. So if you have like a licensed assistant or somebody who's writing offers for you, they can just add themselves in as an assistant or neither, and then add you in as the actual agent. So what you're going to see here, when I click Create, it's going to connect to the MLS and it's going to pre-fill a lot of the fields out for me. So is this anybody's listing? So 81 Snyder's Ave is in Toronto. It's a freehold property. You can see a number of things that have come in here directly from the MLS, like the property width, the property depth, the lot size code, the legal description, any comments, including the list price. And obviously, if you're making an offer on this property, you're going to need to put in the purchase price. And regardless of whether you enter it here for the first time or whether you actually enter it directly onto the agreement, it's going to put that purchase price everywhere that it needs to be. If it changes, it'll change it everywhere that it needs to change. So it's truly one point of entering this data. So we'll just say we're going to go in at 1.3. When I click Next, you'll also see dates, and these dates also apply to the actual agreements themselves. So what's the offer date? Was the offer accepted today? What's the closing date, and so on? And what you're doing here is not only merging those dates onto the actual forms themselves, but it's driving a reminder system. So if you want to be reminded of specific documents and tasks that need to be completed for that specific transaction, these dates will be used as reference points within that as well. Okay? So I'm going to make the offer date today, it was also accepted today, and then I'm going to make the closing date at the end of the month. When I click Next, you'll also see that some people came in from the MLS. So we know who the listing salesperson is, the listing brokerage, it knows who my brokerage is, so I'm Lone Wolf, and it knows who I am, so it's adding me in there. I can actually add additional people. So if I want to add a new transaction contact, you have the ability to add people in here. If you've worked with a specific buyer or seller or client in the past, they will be pre-populated into this list of contacts. You can upload a CVS file as well. So I'm going to add a new transaction contact. It's going to be my buyer, whose name is Tim. And then I'm just going to use my And there are, like, if your buyer or your client doesn't have an email, you don't have to put their email in here. But if you want to send an actual authentic signed document, you're going to want to enter their email. So once I click save, I've added my buyer in here, and I can continue on. And if you're working with a specific lawyer or mortgage company, additional contacts can be added to the transaction whenever throughout the process. So you can see here, based on the fact that I told the system that this is a freehold sale, it is telling me the likely set of documents that I'm going to likely have to send out to my client to sign. This is meant to reduce time, obviously, trying to compile the documents. But because we do have access to the entire TREV forms library, you can add additional documents in at any point in time. You'll also have access to any personal or proprietary documents that you have your client sign, or any brokerage-specific proprietary documents, which will show up in one of the folders here. Okay? So I can add an additional document, or I can just go with what the system is telling me I'm likely going to need my client to sign for this. You'll also see if I click into this agreement of purchase and sale, what we've done is we've merged the details that you've already added to this deal into the form itself. All of these forms are completely editable PDFs, so you can add additional text in here if you have any clauses or chattels or anything that needs to be added, that can be added in here as well. Okay. Once everything is completely filled out, you have the ability to send those documents for signing. So once everything looks great and you want to send that to your client for an electronic signature, you click sign. It's warning you that you can add additional documents. So if, for instance, you have a form that you want somebody to sign that isn't a part of the forms library, you can upload that form, a flattened PDF. It doesn't just have to be the forms that are built in here that can be sent out for signing. So I'm going to confirm that I'm going to create a signing session. So, have most of the room used AuthentiSign before? Have you used? Yeah. Okay. So similar to most good real estate e-signature solutions, there's advanced options built in that really only pertain to real estate. So you can add, specific signing orders. So if this is a first come, first serve type of signing session, or if participants need to sign in a specific signing order, that works. You can accept counteroffers. There are advanced options. So if this document isn't signed by a specific date or time, the system is smart enough to automatically void it for you so that it can't be signed after that specific date and time. You can send out reminders. So if your client is forgetful, specific reminders can be set at a certain frequency. It's just to remind them to sign the documents in a timely manner. The next section are all of my participants. So you can see that all of the participants that came in from the MLS are here, including Tim, who's my buyer. And I can just quickly and easily choose Tim as either a remote signer, an in-person signer, a reviewer, so somebody who's just going to look the document over, or CC only. So I'm going to choose Tim as a remote signer and add him into the transaction. You can add additional contacts in here at this point as well. You don't have to just choose them from where those contacts are in the transaction. You can add additional. Now this is one of my favorite parts. So when I click design, because we pre-programmed all of the TREV forms, what the system's going to do is it can tag these documents where specific people need to sign, where dates need to go, where signatures need to go, so you don't have to physically drag and drop all of these signature fields onto the document. But it is a full PDF editor as well. So you can, and you do have the ability to drag and drop additional signature fields, date fields. You can mark the document up. So if I wanted to strike something through, you could do that. So it is a full PDF editor. So if you're receiving a PDF from somebody, you can also use AuthentiSign to edit the PDF, to add any additional text that needs to go in and send it directly out of the program. Once everything is tagged and ready to be sent out for signature, I actually need to drag and drop this field on here. What happens is it gives you the ability to customize the email and subject line that goes out. So if you want to write a nice subject line and a nice email body to be sent to your client, you have the ability to do that when sending the invitation, or you can just send the generic invitation, which will say a document needs to be signed for the following property address. So when I click invitation or send invitation, what you now have access to is something called the transaction dashboard. And this is your hub and the brokerage's hub to track everything that's happening within this deal. Okay. So anytime a new document is signed, it'll automatically show up here. Nothing has to be scanned, emailed, uploaded. If it's sent out using Authentisign and tied to this transaction, it will automatically upload back into this deal for you. Once it's signed, you have the ability to ring a bell, which can send it to the back office for review, so that you guys can get paid your commissions when everything's closed. Okay. So I'm going to open up my email here. So this document should come through. So this is what your client's going to experience. So they're going to receive an email saying, you've been invited to sign a document for the following property. Please click here to begin the signing process. And they don't have to download an app. They could use any device. As long as they have an internet connection, they're going to be able to sign that document. They're going to have to tell the system that they're not a robot, just for legality standpoints. And they're also going to have to accept the terms and conditions and what's involved in signing a document electronically. So if they come back and said, I don't know what I signed, I didn't know what e-signature is, what the heck's going on, they're accepting the fact that they're signing something electronically. Now, if you're next to a client and you want them to sign something, you do also have the ability of saying it's an in-person signer, so they can actually sign it next to you. So it's effectively taking the pen out of your hand, and you would work through an iPad or your phone or your computer in order to sign documents with them. And they have the ability to quickly draw a signature or select from a font style. So you can see here, there's the document that I sent out to Tim. It's telling him that he needs to sign there. And what your client will have the ability to do afterwards is complete the signing session. They can stay and review the document, or they can reset it. Once they complete it, what they will have access to is something called the client dashboard. And this can be turned on or turned off, depending on what your preferences are. But what the client dashboard does is it gives you the ability to let your clients log into a portal to access those documents at a later date and time. So if they ever needed to access it, you could provide that extra service to them, and that access can have an expiry date. So if you say, I want them to be able to access this for a year, and then, after a year they don't have access to it, they'll have to email me or call me, you could do that. You could set that up. So I'm not going to activate the client dashboard. Now what this has done for me is it's automatically submitted this back into my transaction dashboard. So if I go into the document section, there's that agreement of purchase and sale that Tim just signed. Quickly and easily, I can look it over. If everything looks good to me, I simply click the bell, which will notify the office that my agreement of purchase and sale for this property has been submitted. At which point, the back office staff can review it and ensure that everything looks good. And if it looks good, they give it a thumbs up. They can add a nice note. And if it doesn't look good, they can give a thumbs down, which gives them the ability to add a note for you to edit whatever needs to be edited within that. As each additional checklist item in that checklist gets checked off, your progress bar will reach 100%. And you can log in at any point in time to see, okay, what needs to be completed, what tasks need to be done, and as you reach 100%, you'll be able to see, and once it is 100%, you can be paid out commissions generally. Additional documents and tasks can be added to this checklist. So if you wanted to set up a reminder for yourself to do something, you can add additional tasks. If the office needed to set up a task to remind people of something, they can add additional tasks in here. But it's using that transaction template as a best case scenario, saying this is likely what you're going to require for this deal. Now, if you aren't using Authentisign, which makes it slightly different, you do have the ability to upload completed PDFs in here. It's not as easy as using Authentisign, which makes it valuable and a good tool. So if you are continuing to have clients hand sign something, if they refuse to physically or use e-signature, you can drag and drop PDFs in here to submit them or tie them as checklist items. You have the ability to email documents directly into a transaction. So if you're receiving something completed from somebody else, you can email it directly into that transaction. You can upload it from third-party solutions. So we have integrations with companies like Dropbox and Google Drive and OneDrive. And for those of you that still use fax, which I don't think it's many, you can fax documents directly in and out of the program. It's a built-in fax program as well. So I think that's pretty much it in terms of time that I have. I just wanted to quickly take you through everything. When you log in, go ahead.
I have 3 questions when you're done.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So I currently use Reprieve.
Okay.
Am I able to import all of my transactions from there into Offense?
In theory, yes. Yeah.
Is it easiest if I just contact you guys and have you help me do it?
Yeah, so, like, are you talking on a deal-by-deal basis or, like, historical transactions?
Historical stuff.
Yeah, so you can get that stuff in there. What we would likely do is just upload a mass PDF and create a Docbox folder, and then tag to the Docbox.
Okay. And then you mentioned you can drag in different documents. So currently, like, from my iPhone, I can pull in stuff and put it right in without issue.
Yes, and there's unlimited document storage for you here as well. So if you wanted to use this as a personal file manager, you could as well. Yeah.
And lastly, if you're working on a deal and you want to send something to the co-op site, let's say you send it to your client first, you work with the realtor, all the different docs, but to the co-op side, you only want to send a couple of the documents. Can you select, like, in order?
You can.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, we've got a few. We'll work this way, we'll call that, and then Susan, Sam, Barry.
Yeah, and if for the sake of time, if anybody wants to ask questions after, I'll be back. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So what is the access that someone has, or why would you tag someone as a reviewer versus just sending them a CC?
It's just functionality we built in there. To be honest, I don't know of a situation in which you would, have that. But if you wanted somebody, maybe it's a lawyer to quickly review it.
So that's what I'm trying to understand the distinction between the two, because I would think if you just did a CC, so I wouldn't understand what the distinction is between reviewer and a CC.
It's just, it basically sends them a document that you're sending them for signing, but it doesn't give them the ability to sign it.
So there's no difference then between reviewer and CC?
Yeah, there might be a subtle difference, but not much. Yeah. Or maybe they have to acknowledge that it needs to be reviewed. I don't know the answer to that question, but I can get it. Yeah.
Susan?
Okay, I had a situation where I got an offer in, and I used a sign, but I haven't used it per se yet for my client.
Yeah.
So how do you return an sign, offer and set it up at your end so that you can actually reply to it?
Yeah, so if
Can you repeat the
whoever's
question so we can hear it, because it's hard to hear it.
Yeah, so if someone else authenticated a document and sent it to her, how does she send it back using Authentisign? So there's 2 different ways you can do it. The first is if they tag you to sign it using Authentisign, it's going to automatically come through Authentisign. If they send it to you as a flattened PDF, what you do is you go into the Authentisign section, you add a new Authentisign signing section, upload the document similar to what you would do in like DocuSign or any other signing solution, tag it and send it. So it's very, very similar to DocuSign from a functionality standpoint, but it's built into where your forms are and where the brokerage is working out of.
With the transaction.
Transactionless, yeah, that's the name of the app. Yeah. The code that the platform is built on is also for responsive web design, so it'll adjust if you were to open it in a phone, not using the app.
And I should add that you can actually access this to collaborate as well.
Question.
Barry?
I'm learning. I'm sort of amateur now. I'm trying to get better at this. Can I change the tread embedded form? I have reasons I've got to take courses on the tread form.
You strike it out with an Adobe. I would assume you strike things out.
Yeah, so that's...
What about initials and stuff? Can I still get in there?
You add initials. Remember how you drag and drop an initial in the box?
Yeah, I take out the clause for, what do you call it, where they have title insurance. That's out.
Okay. So you scratch whatever you want. If you want to scratch it out, you scratch it out with the Adobe feature that's built into it, and then you add an initial beside it, and then you send it out. Thank you. Oh, sorry, over here.
So when you were tying it into the MLS, you're writing an offer
attachments that are part of that, the Schedule B or the survey or whatever?
Yeah, that all comes in as well. And one thing I didn't mention, that you can actually sync like a data input sheet directly into Trev as well.
I want to add that we've actually added all our kits and forms in Transaction Desk. Our brokerage documents, whether it's an open house, lockbox, we added forms already that we typically use, and we've already created listing kits and transaction kits as you've been used to using them already in there. So that way it just flows through. Okay? You can delete a form, yes.
Unless it's marked as mandatory.
Unless it's mandatory.
Yeah.
Did you guys put in standard clauses that as a brokerage we prefer?
Yes. So we've added standard clauses, and we're in the process of adding more. But we're not going to, there are certain, like some of you do not want to have a clause that somebody else uses.
Right.
So, if we are going to prepare an offer for you, do something for you, we will access it and use your specific forms. But there are some brokerage clauses that we have to put in, i.e. like, Schedule B, trust account, and how it's handled. That's a standard clause, right? It could be anything from a grow-up or something to do with the way the property has been used. Like, we have those things already in there.
Sorry, transaction desk, a picture of the house.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So, this is overwhelming. I don't want it to be a full day of training. Sorry, no disrespect to Sean. What I'm trying to do is just give you an intro. And then what we're doing is please watch the weeklies. Thank you very much. Please watch the weekly emails for our training classes and everything else that we have. We're getting as many as now 15, 18 people in the room watching, together. Jen's been great at it, so far at St. Clair, and now we have done this as well, doing that. And if you don't want to do it during the time that we offer you, there are videos on Stratus that you can actually click on and watch at your house. You can actually practice on your own. But it's really important that that you start to use this program. I know there are thousands and thousands of realtors who've already started this program. Now imagine a day when you're actually looking at a listing and you click one button and the whole offer starts. You don't have to leave anywhere. I mean, that's going to be here, right? So take advantage of it. I brought this slide up to remind you as well of our Remax Ultimate, myremaxultimate.com website. A lot of the services that we have are there. Lately, we've done a quick little contest to get some feedback from other agents. Do you like it? What do you want to add to it? But before we move on to that, I want to point out something. Have you thought about using Jiffy to save on messaging? So a lot of you send out messages to the whole office, and I get complaints a lot. I'm going to admit to you, I get a lot of complaints of why am I getting paged through the entire company for somebody needing a handyman? Right? And I know you need help. I know that you need a handyman. But this Jiffy app, have anybody used Jiffy? No? Oh my God. So, if you need a handyman or a quick snowplow, you go to Jiffy, 2 hours later, they accept it. It's like Amazon for trades, right? I had one of our offices cleaned for $65 in 2 hours and salted. Right? The grass, it could be, and I understand, we have amazing affiliates. We've got Sagebridge, TD, we have MoveSnap, we have Chanez for interior cleaning. We have all these amazing companies that we already partnered with and affiliated. We want you to use these companies. But there are some things that we don't provide, that we haven't aligned with. Jiffy's a great app. Give it a shot.
Yeah, we all have an email, right? And we all have Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Can we not use Remax Ultimate Facebook social media page to ask the questions?
Absolutely.
So that's a great point. If we all have email, we all have Facebook, except my daughters, they think I'm old for using it. If you go to the networking page on Facebook, you can post any question you want about any kind of trade or anything that you may want, and you may get feedback. I'm looking for a plumber, I'm looking for somebody for grass, I'm looking for eave cleaning or window cleaning, whatever it might be. You can go and post it there, and even our business affiliates are on that too. Hey, I'm here. I was at your meeting. I'll be more than happy to come over and help you, right? With this, we had a lot of great feedback, and we had a $50 gift certificate to Amazon, where it's not turning on. Sorry, I'm having tech issues. I love technology. So we had a contest. Have you entered to win? Katrina Dean is the winner of a $50 gift card. We did a draw online. Rebecca did a great job of doing an online video draw with Daniel. And Katrina Dean can't be with us today, but she actually won the draw. Now we have another contest coming up, and it's the Zillow contest. So for those of you with the most reviews, will be entered into lunch with me. I know it may not be a valuable win for you guys. But I promise you, I know a great restaurant, it's an Irish restaurant, right, that I'll take you to. It's served over 1 billion people. It's very gender neutral, you know. It's very, it offers any type of food you want.
Golden arches, right?
It has golden arches outside. I'm kidding. I promise it'll be a good restaurant. It won't be McDonald's. But Zillow picked up on this. They saw this, and they offered something more. Zillow offered $100 for the first person in our office who has 5 reviews. And they offered another $100 for the person with the most reviews. And they offered another $100 for a draw. Because they said, I understand that Remax Ultimate agents are very competitive. And I said, yes, they are. So they've offered gift card after gift card after gift card of $100 each for Amazon for those of you who will get reviews. Okay? And we'll put that out in email today, quickly, so you guys know what the rules of engagement are, and that way you can participate. Why is it important? Because the more reviews you have, the more credibility you show to the consumer, the more clicks you get. Daniel, what's happening there? I got it. Let's talk about numbers. I'm on a different slide than you. So 2018 was quite an interesting year. Okay. So it was a really interesting year. We were down to 77,426 transactions. It was the worst year since 2008. 74,552 transactions. So what is the prediction for 2019? I love Mark Twain's quote. History may not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. So, if you look at 2008, we dropped from 93,000 sales to 74,000 sales, but look what happened in 2009. We had a bounce back year, 87,000 sales. So why am I projecting? Now, we had 2 down years. I'm projecting an up year primarily for several reasons. But one of the reasons is because we had a year and a half of this marketplace. And we had a lot of policies all at one time. And at this point, I'm very, very confident that consumers are actually starting to accept the normal market that we have right now and are not going to wait. What happened? I'm getting confused. So my predictions for 2019, there will be an interest rate cut. Another one. I was at Jamie Johnson's office, about 2 weeks ago, and Jamie's here as well. And there was a mortgage broker in the actual room, and he had slides right after me, and I said, I don't want to script your presentation, but I'm calling for an interest rate cut. And I got a little bit of a funny face from the person, like, yeah, right, whatever. 2 hours later, Royal Bank cut their rate. I had no idea. I was very lucky on that one. But I do believe that there will be further interest rate cuts. Consumer spending is going to a halt, and in conversations with people that I've met through the renovation industry, they've even told me that they're experiencing a slowdown in their renovation spending. People are not spending as much. So the numbers are going to come in, the banks and the government seeing this. This has officially become an election issue. Right now, if you listen to the media and what they're discussing about the upcoming election, housing, policies, stress test, they're all front and center. They've gone too deep, they've gone too far. I'm not sure what they're going to do. I can't see them eliminating the stress test completely, but there needs to be a modification of some kind. And I want to share with everybody, we've always had a stress test. We've always had a stress test between variable rate and posted rate. But what they did this time is they added 2% above that, as if rates are going to rise that quickly. It's impossible, in my opinion anyway. The real problem, I have a picture of the Visa cards on the right, are pre-approvals of Visa cards and credit lines. That's where the real problem is for consumer and household debt. Do you know that I received at least 3 pre-approvals in the past month? I've now qualified for $30,000 on Visa. No questions asked. And I got one from TD, and I got one from Scotiabank, I'm getting one from BMO. So people are getting these credit cards, they're ramping up the credit cards, they're going to the bank, the mortgage brokers, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, and they're asking for a line of credit, right? They don't call for a line of credit, and then what happens? They go down the line, and now they're doing even, one of the courses we had with Safebridge, I remember, was reverse mortgages. So now people are longer in their home, thinking about what to do with their properties. Instead of selling them, they're going to reverse mortgages. And this is a byproduct of not being qualified with a stress test, not being able to refinance your properties, right? So it's a vicious cycle. It's not based, in my opinion, on real estate. It's adding all the debt that's going around it. More and more buyers are going to jump into the market in 19. There are a lot of people on the sidelines. I sincerely believe that we've already seen a significant rise in multiple offers. I get a report every single day at 5 o'clock in every single location. And I can assure you that the appointments are up. The listings are up. The offers, anywhere from 3 to 4 offers. We had a property just a few days ago with 17 offers. Yes?
Quickly, I have a listing, I have my second longest listing in my career, 8 months. All of a sudden, we have 3 offers, one went over list, and this is not a desired property. All of a sudden, yesterday.
Yes.
How is this possible? So spring market's here, people.
Yes, it is. So make hay when it's time, right? Here it is. A lot of you are approaching me and telling me of how busy you're getting and how many listings you have coming in. The reality is, though, that supply is still extremely low. It's still extremely low. So don't wait until April and May, and this is the time to actually put the properties in the market. So prediction for numbers. I really do believe we'll have a bounce back year. We'll be in the high 80,000s. I'd love to see a 90, but I don't think that will happen. We'll have maybe around 88 or 89,000. That's the closest we'll get to an actual 9. But I could be pleasantly surprised and have 92, 93 again. But I do believe that 88, 89,000. Now tomorrow, Trev is releasing their economic forecast. Same place. So if you're able to, if you've registered, it's great. You'll see all the media come out after that. There'll be media everywhere swarming to find out what Trev thinks. So you can have an opportunity to piggyback off that information and use that information to send it to your clients. I want to share a quick story. A recent lunch we had, I shared a story of my daughter, my oldest daughter, and her project at school. She came to me and says, "Daddy, I have to do a term paper. It's 20% of my grade in grade 11, and I've chosen to do it on real estate because my dad's a real estate broker, and he'll help me, right?" And so I'm going to do it for you, but I can help you with some actual articles. So I sent all the articles that I could find in the last 4 to 5 weeks to her. And she came back to me and she said, "Okay, Dad, that was very, very great, and I did it, but I need some, when you're doing term papers, you need some background information. You need to get some more research done because you want to show the teacher that you read more than just 5 articles. And if anybody's got Helena, she will argue with the teacher if she got 99%. Right? Like she'll have to go to the teacher and say, "Show me where the 1%'s missing." Like she's a really high driving. I just walk out of the house when she's at that, right? It's like, the easiest place for me to be is outside of that house, right? So I sent her the actual articles from 4 months back. And she came back to me, and with her originality said, "Daddy, I'm going to fail." And I said, "Why are you going to fail?" She said, "Because the articles have confused me. Like, how is the media allowed to write a different article every 2 days? How is that right for the consumer and for people out there?" So the moral of the story here is that she did really well on it. A, because we stayed away from the confusing part. But B, it is up to us, sincerely up to us, to educate our clients on the real market and not what they're reading in the media. If we let them just read in the media, you will be a yo-yo in your business. You need to be the rock. You need to be the person who brings calm to them and educates them on what has happened in the past 2 years and why we're going to have a better year right now. So, brokerage updates. I'm not accurate. It's okay, it worked. Oh, you did it. Okay. So, the brokerage updates. I want to first say that I want to thank you all for participating in our surveys. We did a whole bunch of surveys from all locations, asking about our admin staff, leadership, like myself, Larry, Jen, our entire admin staff, reception, our marketing team. We actually had really, really pointed questions, and many of you actually responded. I want you to know that the feedback was very candid. We really appreciate it. Everything was constructive. Nothing was an attack. There were areas of improvement. And I want to share with you that we've actually started having our staff meetings, both in groups and individuals, to make sure that we are on the same page, to make sure that there's no miscommunication and we're better together. Regulatory update. More than ever, we're under tremendous scrutiny, and the brokers' compliance is at the forefront. I don't know what components means. It's a misspell, I'm sorry. Mutual releases. FinTrack and updates, cancellation, extension, and still reporting. Ladies and gentlemen, mutual releases that are sent to us with a different name on the payable than on the offer is a FinTrack flag. You cannot send us. Please read your mutual releases. When FinTrack audits us, they get upset with putting ONT for Ontario. They want Ontario. Larry and I went to a broker manager, I'm not sure if Jenny were there, but Larry and I went to a broker manager meeting on FinTrack to educate us as owners of our responsibilities. And I stood up about 15 minutes into the presentation, and I put on my coat. And Larry grabbed me and said, "Where are you going? You just started." And I said, "I'm going directly to jail, not passing go." And he started laughing. Because I basically could have been wearing a diaper the way she spoke to me, right? About it. And we're not the bad ones here, right? No, seriously, I mean, we're not the bad ones here. Like, we're just trying to keep you compliant. I have said many times, and so all of us have said, if you send me a mutual release with a buyer's name on top and a different payable, I'll give you a choice. Either report it to FinTrack or you get it fixed. And the idea of sending a mutual release to me first, before anybody else signs it, with a $100,000 trust check in our account, would you sign that? I'm asking, would you sign, if you were the owner of a company responsible to FinTrack, and there was a $100,000 check in your trust account, and I sent you a mutual release, signed by no one, and you are asking me, or sorry, I'm asking you to sign it first, would you sign it? So why are you sending it to us? John?
I always use that signing order when I mutual release or cancellation.
Yes. Yeah, it's just, he puts everything in order in the online signing process, right? But the same thing with FinTrack and updates, cancellations. Do you know how many cancellations we receive after the listing expired? I mean, I don't know why we're asking to sign them. Extensions, sale reporting, the fines, you know, the integrity of the MLS is crucial. And it's very, very important that we keep the integrity there. So sale reporting, you know, we have at any one time close to 10, 12, 14 checks with no deal handed in. And we have to deposit the trust funds within a certain time period. We need to have your paperwork. We're not trying to be hard on you, we're just trying to be compliant. And there is sometimes payroll delayed for certain reasons. We have a cutoff time at 11 o'clock to pay at 2 every day. And every day we have somewhere between 8 to 30 transactions to close. And Sean runs in at 12 o'clock. "I picked up the check. Can you pay me today?" And I like, Sean, I'd love to pay you today, but if I pay you today, it might delay it for the other 20 people, but we'll do our best. So we go to put in Sean, we're trying to put it in there, because it's the whole process, right? It's online banking. And then Jonathan runs in at 12:30. Can you pay me today? Sure, Jonathan, I'll pay you today, but I'm not going to pay Mike, or Andre, or Paul, or Steve, or John until tomorrow. So we need to have total understanding. We're not trying to be difficult. We have no reason to hold on to your money, right? We want to pay you every single chance we get. But if we delay payroll and we miss that cutoff time at 1 o'clock on the TV online, guess what? 3 tables are being pissed off at us for not paying them today because we missed it, right? So I just want to explain how that works. Bill 168, HR training requirements, it captures salespeople. Again, I've repeated this many times, you are deemed to be employees under the Act. You're independent contractors for tax reasons only. You're not independent contractors to do whatever you want. You're employees. Here is the biggest kicker that you and many people don't understand. This does not capture only how you treat a receptionist or a staff member. It also captures how a staff member or receptionist treats you. Want me to scare you? It also matters how you treat her. Because you're all employees. When an agent calls you up on the phone and rips you to shreds, Bill 168 is captured. Did you guys know that? So we all have an obligation to be careful here. We are signing up for an HR downloads program. We're going to have the whole company see through it and do a quick online course. I think it's very valuable. I've been through it twice now. And I'm learning something every single time. And why am I doing it? Because I want to protect you so if something ever happens, you don't feel like you didn't know. February 28th is our awards night, and March 5th is our video training that we're doing with Michael Krissa. Now, it may very well be here, maybe another location. This is a significant investment that we're making. Yes?
Sorry to interrupt, but February 28th is during the Remax event.
Yes, so what happened is we've been doing our awards night the last Thursday of every February for years. And this year it just so happened that it falls at the beginning or the end of, just before R4 starts or just after. But we've always done it this way. It's been booked a year in advance, and there was no way of changing it. So
I may not be there, if I'm invited.
I'll save you some food. Jeff, we'll save you some food.
pardon me?
I second that. We got you.
$30. I need $30. Don't need the award.
So I'm buying you dinner. How's that? It's going to be much more fun. So unfortunately, we can't change the awards night. And I respect that some of you may not be able to be here. It was not done on purpose. It was something that, I'd love to go to R4 as well, but unfortunately, it is what it is, right? So, let's talk about industry updates. Will your business change if double lending dual agency is banned? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got this one. So Michael Krissa is going to be a full day training on how to do video. It's very, very good. It's meant to get you out of your comfort zone.
It's not just a one-day training. It's a one-day in-person full-day training, and then it's I believe it's almost like a 10-week online program after that.
Yeah.
Is it something you'll sign up for?
You have to sign up for it. There's no cost to you. We've actually paid for this, and it's open to everybody in our company. March 5th.
Yes. We'll send an email.
March 5th. We're going to send an email ASAP. It's a full day training and then another 10 weeks after that. Sorry. Yeah. So please sign up. It's open to everybody. For you to pay for this on your own would be probably about $1,000 each. I'm not kidding. We're actually negotiated a price to have our entire brokerage part of this. Okay. Next slide, please. So industry updates. Will your business change if double lending ended? Would it change? How about if dual agency ended? Would it change? Right? So these are things that are going on right now. There's a white paper, and I have the white paper over there. Just give me that right there. Thank you. So here's a white paper from RICO. and, well, it's a consultation paper from RICO and it's going to the legislature, right? It's about 20 pages and it talks about stuff like double ending. How about should competing offer contents be disclosed to everybody? Right? So let's think about all the things that are being asked, right? I don't want you guys to panic. These are not passing right now. You already have choice. In discussions with everybody, whatever you hear out there is not accurate. You already have the mechanism to disclose all information of competing offers based on consent. Okay? The government cannot regulate, in our opinion, how a consumer can dispose of their property. They could only regulate how we operate within the real estate community, right? It's about disclosures and checks and balances, right? These are questions. How do you feel about Korea announcement, proposed sold prices without a password to their website? Did you guys hear about that? So Korea Board of Directors decided that they asked us in Ontario and other provinces to post sold prices on the website without a password protected mechanism. We can't do it. Our regulators don't allow it. For us to allow to have that, you have to have a password protected website. Will your business change if we're not members of RIA or RIA? It's a good question, isn't it? Would your business change if we're not members of a RIA or RIA? Right now, RIA is closing their college. They're about a year and a half away. And they have tens and tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with that money, but it's time that they look at reevaluating their purpose and not charging us dues. I know at TREV, anytime there's a surplus or any chance of having a CRA problem, you're going to reduce holiday. I think it's time for possibly a reduced holiday at RIA as well. I also believe that it's time for RIA to know what they're meant to do. And that is not go after your pocketbooks and do things that the member boards are already doing. I think that their sphere and their laser focus should be on one thing only: advocacy, right? Provincial level, talking about what's best for the real estate industry, and not being in the markets and in the doing stuff like YPNs and doing all these conferences that they don't need to do. Korea. And then you have Korea as well. They're looking at Realtor.ca. They're very concerned about Realtor.ca. But what's going on with Korea is that they're not focusing on the federal level of politics. They're more concerned about their website than they are about the federal level of politics. So we need to be aware that there are some significant changes happening. Trends. New ways of doing business. So this is really near and dear to my heart. A lot of us seem to put a lot of our business in one system. And I want you guys in 2019 to change your mindset. Okay? Every single person has the tools to really make a difference. How many people here remember when they were young having a magnifying glass? A magnifying glass?
Not when I'm old,
But I want to give you an example here that may resonate with you. In your hand, you have a magnifying glass. And in the sky, you have the sun. But the magnifying glass will only burn something if you tilt it and play with it and adjust it to a certain angle. Am I right? If any of you have been young, I've done it before, a magnifying glass, and I started a fire with it. But it took a lot of adjustment. The point is that we all have the tools in our hands, but we're not using them. We're not spending any time analyzing our business. We're being too macro with our business and not micro enough. We're not being intentional in our business. Not everybody likes your newsletter. Not everybody likes hockey. And I'll give you this example. I have some league tickets. Not a lot of them, but I have some. And I thought, what a great way to have some league tickets and give some league tickets to some of our agents. And some of you have gone to league tickets, right? And some of you have, here's the kicker. So I've offered a league ticket to one of our agents because I couldn't go. And the agent said, no, I'm not interested. And I'm like, the Leafs? What do you mean not interested? You know what, Tim? If it's the opera, ballet, some theater, I'm there. And the light turned on in my head. The light turned on. I was grouping everybody into believing what I'm providing is the way to do it. And it's not. How many of you have clients who love cooking, love traveling, love gardening? Some have children, some don't. You see where I'm going with this? It's time to analyze your business. Break people into groups and treat them how they want to be treated, not how you think they want to be treated. That is how you're going to go deeper in your relationship, and that's how you're going to turn on a referral business. That is how you're going to make your business, that's how you're going to cultivate your business. Don't assume 140 jacket fits everybody. We need to change. Last part is be careful of the FOMO syndrome. Be careful of the FOMO syndrome. What is FOMO? Fear of missing out. I started off the meeting today with being too involved with what others are doing and assuming it's right, comparing yourself to others and assuming they are more successful, and by the way, the best CRM is the one that you will use. And I started with I added the last sentence in there because that's all that's important to you. The last, group people, find something that works for you and do it for yourself. Don't get caught up in everything else. We have created a new buyer resource tab on our Remax Ultimate website, my Remax Ultimate website, and it is for buyer presentations. So effective, we'll say a few days, by Friday, you will have a new buyer presentation that you can use for your clients, fully customizable, with your images and pictures and everything else. We're updating all our resources. We've just finished updating our buyer resource. Thank you. And I want to share something I learned in New York. I learned 3 things in this week. Number 1, I went to lunch, and I have to share the story. Just about how costs are and how we're in a different zone here. And we're eating at this restaurant at the Empire State Building. And we're talking to the waiter, and he said to me, tell me, do you know what it costs to have rent here? And the waiter said, about 7 or 8 years ago, about $150,000 is what it costs a month to pay rent at the Empire State Building. Here's the next part. The insurance policy to operate here is more than that. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I just want to share that story about the Empire State Building, because if you ever go to New York and you actually eat at the Empire State Building, you'll know that the insurance policy is more per month than the actual rent is. And that doesn't even include taxes, by the way. That's net rent, 150, that you knew of, right? I took a picture of some monuments, that didn't go on the slide, and I realized that the condos behind it were selling for $100 million each. There are units by Central Park, $100 million each. So, that's interesting. But I learned this stuff. On average, agents follow up with online leads 1.6 times before giving up. Isn't that kind of sad? Like, seriously. This is a very sad stat that I learned at the conference this week. On average, agents follow up with online leads 1.6 times before giving up. Companies take an average of 38 hours to respond to online lead inquiries. 38 hours on average. 77% of online leads are never called. 35 to 50% of all sales go to the first company who contacts a lead. And if a lead is not in contact within 5 minutes, the probability of closing drops by 400%. Just wanted to share that with you. I'm not asking you to be connected to the point where you're not sleeping, but just be aware that if you don't, when somebody reaches out to you It's a competitive world. This is not the part that bothered me. What bothered me was the first one. 1.6 times is like saying I called them and they didn't call me back. Then I emailed them. Then emailed them 0.6 times to me, or a text 0.6 times. It was really interesting. Sorry, Daniel? I won't go again. I'm almost done. Oh, I am done. So, I have to introduce to you right now Jamie Johnston, good friend of mine, that I respect a great deal. Jamie Johnston is recognized as a highly progressive thinker with an in-depth understanding of the condominium market in both resale and new development sectors. His knowledge and vision have propelled his company to 5 prime located branches, over 150 high-caliber realtors, and of the highest realtor productivity among the top brokers in the downtown core. Honored to call him a business partner and a friend. I'd like to introduce you to Jamie Johnston.
I realize I'm the warm-up act for John DeMichelle. However, when I thought about it, I am really the meat in the sandwich between Tim and JD. So anyway, I feel honored to be the meat. So before starting, I'd just like to say a couple things. We really are lucky to have John DeMichelle as the CEO of TREB. You know, he's been dynamite for us. He's recognized as one of the most influential real estate people in North America. So that's high compliments. What can I say about Tim? Tim and I, we've worked together for over 15 years. He's a bright guy. He has more hair than I do. It must be because his agents like him better, don't give him as much rough time as my agents give me. He's got high energy, integrity, and he and I have worked closely together for 15 years. We've created some synergy with some of the things we've done between our two companies. But we're both looking to do more between our two companies going forward. And the final thing I want to say about Tim is I've looked at a lot of presidents and trends over the years. You can tell, I think Tim's been the very best president we've ever had.
They're number 2.
Okay. What I propose to talk about briefly, because I know we all want to get to listen to John, very short market overview, okay? Then we're going to do a deep dive into the condo market for a few minutes. I'm going to talk about resales, pre-construction, and that unfortunate area rentals. And I'm going to talk about what are the best markets for condos. So we got the first slide up here. This is my slide. Tim has a gut feel about what sales are going to be like for TREB next year. This was my starting point when I looked at the condo market. I'm a little bit more mathematical in terms of what I try to do. Be interested to see what Jason does tomorrow. Anyway, I started with the average resales for adult population. And over 10 years across Canada, the number was 1.7%. So across Canada, every year, on average, 1.7% of the adult population buys a property. So what would that look like in terms of the GTA? So I went back and I tracked the numbers from 2011 through to 2018. And you can see, I thought the average number would be, what would be a normal market for us would be 90 plus thousand. Actually, it was a little bit lower. You can see in 2016, it got to 2%, which was not way off where it should be. 2018, we dropped to 1.4. I'm looking at 1.6%, which translates into 87,000 units. Okay? And why is that important? Because we've seen how people move between the resale market in terms of low-rise and the high-rise or condo market. So, in closing out, I just want to talk about, for you people, because my agents say, forget about all the crap about the market, James. tell me where I gotta focus and what I gotta know. So for me, in terms of what are the best 3 markets for condos for you people in 2019, it's area code 416, under $1 million. That's market number 1 we're focusing on in our company. Market number 2, everybody has first-time buyers. They can't get in to the market in 416. We're taking all those people that have an ability to buy under $500,000. We're selling them condos in 905, either Mississauga or Ajax. So we're trying to take the first-time buyer who's priced out of 416 and say, you're going to have to commute. Let's take you to 905 for condos. The 3rd best market for us in 2019 will be the assignment market. Think about it. All these people bought condos. They all were pre-qualified 4 or 5 years ago before the stress test. And guess what? Today, these people that bought these condos won't be able to close because they won't get a mortgage. They won't get a mortgage, and they're going to have to sell. So, the top agents, less competition in the assignment market than in the resale market. So, people that know assignments know where to find them. You can find them on Broker Bay, right? Because there is a section for looking for assignments. And we're very big in Kijiji as well, too. Finding and marketing assignments, okay? So those are the 3 in terms of the resale market. The only other thing I would add to the resale market is the price range for condos in the resale market is $800 to $1,000 per square foot, depending on the age of the building and the proximity to transportation. Okay, in terms of looking at the, let's go back, can you go back a slide? Everybody, including TD, here I see, they give you a forecast of markets across Canada, and they have one market, they call it the GTA, they give you one price for all of Toronto, and one up or down in terms of sales. Look guys, we all know the GTA represents 25% of all the real estate sold in Canada. So why would we just focus on one number? So for us, this is what I've told our people, what the price increases are going to be. You can see condos in a 416, only 3%. Don't forget, last year everybody's still talking about how condos increased in value very quickly last year. That market ended in July. There's been no price increase in condos since July of 2018 in the Toronto market, in 416. So that's what I think. You can see low rise, if you can find it. That's going to be the dynamite market for you guys under $1 million. Here's your chance to tell people if they've got a fixer-upper, there's no product, dump it now, right? So that's what we're forecasting in terms of prices. And you can see where the worst market is for us. It's over $2 million in 905. Okay? Perfect. Okay, I want to talk about the pre-construction market. So, in terms of sales, we're looking, pre-construction sales, we're looking at about 20,000 pre-construction sales this year, down slightly from last year. And pre-construction sales are all dependent on new product launches, okay? Those people that like to sell pre-construction in terms of low-rise, I think you're going to be out of luck in 2019. The low-rise market for new construction is basically dead, right? Guys who built that have decided to fold their tent and wait, right? In terms of the high-rise market, and this is a key point that you need to know, this is the price differential between new launch condos in 2018, it's going to be the same way in 2019, versus the average resale price of what I call a resale condo that's new, that has been resold in a building less than 1 year old, okay? So we didn't average resale prices for condos that were 20 years old. We only looked at the last year, what the price differential is. So you can see 2016 and 2017, new construction was actually lower than resale. That's when everybody should have bought, right? Now you can see what the price difference is. When we work with our agents, we tell them when they sell pre-construction, you know what, you need to find deals where the pre-construction price is at most $25 above the resale price. If it goes much higher than that, you know what, all the appreciation you're trying to get for the investors could be lost. So you can see where we're at right now. The median price over the last 10 years was a premium of $53, okay? And right now, it's over $100 a foot difference. Okay, so that means pre-construction is $1,100 a foot and more. Okay, how did prices get that high? Pre-construction prices for builders are funny. They do it on a cost-plus basis. That's how they get to the price. They don't really try to figure out the market too much. When you add all the costs now to build, it's over $800, almost $900 a foot. That's why you know that prices for condos are never going to drop below $900 a foot, because that's the base replacement cost. Okay? And when you look at what the population growth for the GTA is, you know we're not building enough condos and low-rise units to supply the increase in population each year. So, what do you need to know about the pre-construction market for 2019? There's going to be even more canceled projects. Okay? You saw one on Danforth Road, right? Danforth Road. And I'm telling you, if you have clients that bought and condos in 600 to 700 square foot, they're patting themselves on the back. I'm telling you, if construction isn't above ground level, look for those projects to get canceled in 2019. Okay? That's one. Two, 905 for pre-construction is really soft. Focus just in the 416 market. Third point, you got to focus on big, credible developers. Don't, you know, if a deal looks too good to be true from some little wee guy, chances are he'll never build it. And now you're going to have an unhappy investor client. So just focus on the big builders in 2019. Okay, final thing I want to say is rentals. Unfortunately, half my business is trending towards rentals. Tim tells me you're up to what, 25%?
Yes.
Congratulations, guys. You've joined the rental market. So look, I want to give you 3 pieces of advice in the rental market. Okay? First off, don't take out any client unless they give you 3 things plus a checkbook. That's our rule. I want the rental application, I want the credit bureau, and the letter of employment. All those 3 things plus a checkbook. And you're going to tell people we're going to see maximum 4 units, and you're going to make an offer at the end of the day. Are you ready? If not, I can't help you. Right? I'm telling you, you got to cookie cut rentals, or you guys will go broke on it. Two, I want you to focus on 2-bedroom units and units that rent for more than $3,000 a month. Why? It's like the 1-bedroom market for rentals, it's shark infested. You find one, there'll be 7 offers on it, and you're wasting your time. Less competition at the high end of the rental market. So if you're going to do rentals, that's where you're going to go. Okay? And the last point I want to leave with you is fake rental applications. And you guys leave yourself open to be sued by accepting fake rental applications and not doing due diligence. I'm telling you, 30% of all the rental applications are fake right now. I'm telling you that. And I'm telling you, if you get a tenant with a fake rental application into your unit, you cannot evict that person because of the fake rental application. Okay? You're stuck with them, and you're going to have to get them out some other way. So you really have to be careful. Our company's been sued 3 times now over, did the agent do due diligence in terms of accepting the information that we got from the co-op agent. Okay? So, you really got to do your homework on this. And a word of warning. And that's basically what I wanted to say about the market today. Talked about the resale market's going to be really good. Talked about pre-construction, and I hope I gave you some words of warning for the rental market. So Tim said, be quick. He's got a big hook. So Tim, I hope I've been quick enough for you today.